Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So we begin with our last week of the path of the I am. Los días fuera del tiempo a nuestro año nuevo Atlante. So the last 10 days till we arrive to the days out of time, which is the Atlantean New Year. So we begin like this our week related to the conscious plane. So of course that I know that for many of you will be very difficult to stop being connected and communicated in this routine that we have created day by day, and stop being connected since the days out of time in 10 days ahead. But it's good to know that there's no better test for all of us than detachment to finish the month of Cancer. So I remind you again that the days out of time will be between July 30 till August 3rd. And these 5 days will be the days out of time. And then the connections those days won't be exactly at the same hour. So I will let you know this week at what time is going to be the connections for those days. And of course that the Atlantean New Year, beginning with Sirius rising the August 4th, we will start to post every day a reminder of what we have done every day since we started this path. So just pay attention to the social media, because we will be connecting every day, making a review of everything that we have done. I remind you that all the information that you need from this path is in the blog. This is the blog, okay? So you can look for all the information here. So also in this same blog, you will find a link to the event. You will see there that it says event. You can just click there and it will take you to the website of the event for 2022. So all you have to know, all you need to know about the event, you can go there. Anything you want to know about the foundation that I am part of, RCM Foundation, if you want to donate, to become a member, to help me somehow, you have also all the context there for the foundation. Anything you need to know, anything you want to find out about me or the path or the foundation is there, is in this blog. I remind you also that remember that everything is in Spanish and English. Yes, in the website, you can get inside and you have all the information in English and Spanish. In the blog itself, you have there to choose the language, okay? So you just choose your language. It has different options of languages, I don't know, German, Italian, Portuguese, and of course is the Google Translator, because it's really difficult to translate in many languages every day what I'm doing. So we have chosen that way, which was easier, but we do whatever we can. So if you ever see someone that is asking, how can I join this? Where can I find the information, where can I know how to subscribe for the event, everything will be here. And inside of this link, you have all the information. So please share it with whoever asks. Thank you. I know that there's a lot of people that just follow me here in YouTube. But I also know that many of you hadn't read everything that is in the blog, and some people are doing some questions regarding things that are already explained and written there. So I would highly recommend to you to go to the blog and to read everything that is there. You will see many parts of the site that you can find all information from all the history of why is this project, who am I, why I'm doing this, what is the goal, future projects, everything, foundation, whatever you want to see is there. Okay? Topic for today is universal. I just forgot everything about the topic for today. What I was supposed to say. Momento. Okay. Just that I have this blackout, this blank mind right now, because the way in which my explanations work is because I am not thinking about what I say. I just let my higher self to speak, to explain things. That's why I explain all this, not preparing myself to do it. But sometimes when I have this blackout, is because I don't have the connection enough. So yes. So usually, in order to know what I have to say, I must have my mind in blank, not thinking in anything, and I was thinking in many things. So that's why it's been difficult. It is universal and not universe, because when we say universe, is talking about the thing, the universe. But when I say universal, I'm talking about the attribute of being something regarding the universe. So we are not talking about the universe, we are talking about the perception or the attribute of being like the universe. And in this week related to the conscious, we will talk about the universal consciousness. Okay? So remember, what is consciousness? Consciousness is basically, the idea of consciousness means to discern, to know how to discern in between many things. So what we do by consciousness is discerning the reality we live in. And what is universal? Universal comes from the word universe, that means the path to the one. So when everything turns to oneself. This means that universal consciousness represents the attribute of or the ability to know how to discern the different parts of the reality in order to come back to the oneself, in order to come back to the unity. Okay. Let's look at this in this way. So remember that consciousness comes from discern, and discern comes from cut, the idea of cutting something. So here we have that the unity, this one self, is cut into different pieces that can be 2, can be 6, can be 800, can be a million, can be thousands of trillions. It doesn't matter how many. It just cut itself. So that's what we call to discern. So it discerns the different parts of the one. So this unity here is conscious. And this conscious, the only thing that it does is to open its eyes to see what it has divided. So it only observes, it can only see. The consciousness can only see what is there, the different aspects. So now the conscience in the universe is just observing, is the observer of all the things that have been emerging from itself. So it was just watching, staring at something. But eventually, this being cannot change or decide or do or feel anything just by observing. So the only thing that this being can do is to go and leave these different realities in order to experience them. So imagine this, that this guy here, the conscience, is someone that has been reading books about other countries. So it reads stories, history, and all that, and he knows everything, but have never experienced anything from the books. So this guy here decides to stop reading and start to leave. So it goes to the first country, then the second country, third country, and experience how it is to leave those stories. So what happened that eventually when this guy goes to the first country 1, then when he travels to the country 2, whatever has lived in the 1, it was already integrated. It had already the experience. So kind of know exactly what happened in the first one, in the first country. So it starts to live just the second with the information of the first one, not needing to think about it. And the same happened when it goes to the third one. It already integrated 1 and 2, so they start to shape like a structure, a pattern that encodes information that you don't have to think about because you already have it within. And that happens once and again with each one of them. And suddenly when you are in the 6th country, you are experiencing the 6th country here, these other 5 from here, they already are part of myself, and I don't have to think about them anymore. I'm just focused in the 6th country. So what happened here? That all of this, they stop to be part of the conscious, and they start to be part of my unconscious. And they now are part of a pattern in my unconscious. Let's say that these countries has different names. What pattern they would shape? So this is the conscious, and this has been the countries where it has been going through, for example. So we have the first country called vibration, second country called energy, third country matter, third country wisdom, fourth country wisdom, fifth country will, and the 6th one love. So these are the names of these different places where the self will try to experience, to find. So, of course, what happened in our life? If we experience first vibration, we will be concentrated in vibration. But when we go to the country of the energy, we already understand that there is a vibration. We don't even think about it anymore. And even more, when we start to go to the country of matter, we just think in matter. We just think in terms of matter, and we don't even think about energy and vibration, because it's already given. It's something that is already within. So it's now in the unconscious. So this is how the conscious turns out to be unconscious here. So this would be the pattern. If I get together this line, this line, this line, I have a triangle. So if I get together these other three lines, I will get another triangle. So why this symbol suddenly is the unconscious? Because when I drew this symbol here, for sure in your mind have popped up many informations, like Second World War, Hebrew, Judaism, Israel, Star of David, Merkaba, so much data, so much information just for this symbol, which are only 6 tiny little lines connected to each other. So this means that all that information in your unconscious is recorded in patterns. So this is why the conscious being turns into the unconscious. The conscious being is the one that has discerned, that has seen the different parts, and then by experiences, it starts to put all of that together. So now we have this shape, but suddenly, again, the conscious will try to figure out and understand why these lines have been organized in this way. So again, the conscious will start to take power back, trying to understand the different points of view of this. So we have one point of view, another point of view, other point of view, other point of view, other point of view, other point of view. And that would be the task of this one here. This one here, the other unity, is the one in charge to take all this unconscious information and try to discern it again to understand what are the shapes of this, so they all can turn back into one. So this whole path is called universe, which means the path from the one coming back to the one. So as you see here, the pattern would be the next. The conscious is the one that can see and project all the things that it has within, is the one that discern all the things that lives within itself. So that's why it separates all the patterns, but suddenly the conscious says, I need to experience that. So that's why it goes to each one of them. So as it take this path, it starts to integrate each one of the experiences until he takes the shape. And when it finds the shape, when it discovers a shape, that's called the unconscious, because it has no clue of why it chose this shape. Because someone can make a choice of this shape or this shape or this shape to organize 6 lines. You have many ways to organize it. Okay, so suddenly the conscious starts to ask itself why it has this shape, why I have this. So that's when the conscious take the power back. When the conscious here says, I want to understand the different parts of this shape that I have made. And discover again, discern again all the information that shapes us. This is the path that, so when it discovers that, is when we start to recognize that we are a universal being. Okay, we are coming back to the one. That's to be a universal being. So now, what is the thing here? This is the observer. We have an eye here. So we shape the image of an eye, but actually this is just an angle when the reality is a sphere. This means that we have many other eyes, like a pizza. So this means that we have many other points of view of discernment, and of course, we have many different points of view of unconsciousness, unconscious. And of course, this goes this way and every way because it's a sphere. So if this one here constitutes the unconscious, all the others around together will constitute what we call the subconscious. Okay? So we have here that the conscious is only one spot that unifies what here we see as a process of the unconscious, which is within a whole picture of subconscious. So the only reason why we call God the observer is basically because the shape of the eye is a perfect way to show an angle. So that's why the eye is the perfect image to talk about the universe. We have the reason why the eye is a symbol of the unity, the one that is observing everything, the observer, because when we trace the path of the universe, we can find that the angle that you need in order to open this path is the shape of an eye staring. So we have the observer, and then we have the observed. And in between, we have the one eye that sees everything. This is why we call the universe God, or God the observer. Remember that the universe is actually like a sphere. So of course, that in a sphere, if we take one north axis and a south axis, we will have this here. The whole and nothing, the void. And of course, as Egyptian would say, here we have the 7 rays of the light, like a rainbow. And the axis of the truth, with the infinite expanding to the universe. Also, from this axis, I will have a new I, which is duality. And I can also trace a new I, the duality. Something that we can also call time and space. Something that in our reality, in the third dimension, we know as a cube. An interdimensional cube that goes from one place to another. And that, of course, keep going in expression, creating many and more options of itself. That would be new eyes, that multiplies towards the infinite constantly. So, we find the 6 lines again. So everything that exists, from the subconscious, unconscious, and the conscious, from the matter, vibration, energy, and whatever, is only one being trying to come back to itself. Universe. So now, what it would be the universal consciousness? So universal consciousness, we have to divide it itself from the consciousness. So now, for example, a person can be conscious in this aspect here, but can be unconscious of all the others around. So there's no one person that is conscious in its life and a person that is unconscious in its life. We all are conscious in one aspect and unconscious in other aspects. So a person can be conscious because it knows exactly one of the aspects of this creation. But picture this, that this is a constant expansion of a reality, which means that it repeats itself once and again. The pattern of 6, it repeats all the time. So each one of us maybe have been experiencing this and then that. So you can be conscious about this one, conscious about that one, conscious about this one, but maybe you're not aware of all the rest. So all that is your unconscious, and that's your conscious. So when we speak about consciousness, it's not something that you have to reach and there is something out there that you find or you become. And it's not that when you become conscious, you already are conscious. It's not like that. So you will never be completely conscious of something, because once you thought you were conscious about one thing, the reality says to you, yes, but this has been fractalized in 6 more and 6 more and so on. So you will never really find the complete consciousness because it's always divided in fractals. So nobody can actually be conscious. So someone can be conscious about the climate change, someone can be conscious because you must go to the school every day. You can be conscious in many options, but it doesn't mean that you are completely conscious. And why is that? Because there's always something more. Even the most intelligent person in the planet, whoever that knows everything and many things, cannot be conscious about every cell in this planet, cannot be conscious about every feeling and reality. Even what he thinks it's true, it can be different in other realities. Even if I am really aware and conscious about all this side here, I won't be aware of this truth here. What for me is a truth, absolute truth in this conscience, in this consciousness, it will be the opposite here because it's positive and negative. So this is the total opposite of my truth. So even though I am conscious there, I won't be here. This is infinite. So what is the universal consciousness if we cannot be aware of everything? What it really means. So what is the universal consciousness? Universal consciousness is not knowing everything. It's accepting that it doesn't matter where I am and what I know, I am still part of the big picture that is bringing me towards myself. Means that I am aware of one part, but even though I am not attached to this part, because what I am aware of is just one tiny little aspect of the universe. So I know that there is much more. I know that there's many thousands of options in the universe, and I am open to know that all of them exist. So I awaken my universal consciousness in the moment that I am not attached to a belief, a philosophy, a religion, an idea, a point of view, a science, whatever. If I am attached to one only point of view from my point of consciousness, so I am not going to be able to work with the universe, because I can only be universal when I am open to understand that every option, even the bad ones and the good ones, are all of them taking me to myself. It's important to speak about this because we are only 10 days from living this path, stopping this way of teaching and sharing. And this doesn't mean that the teachings end. It means that now it starts to get open for new things to come, new books, new movies, new masters, new teachers, new information. So what we have done until now was just to build a way to understand the universe, which is not the truth. It is just one of those circles of consciousness that from where we can stare and watch the entire option of the universe, recognizing that we are here working for the universal consciousness. So we have to be open to understand the whole, everyone, any point of view that will come to your life. And being open to all of them is what really will take you to the universal consciousness. Okay. Today we changed vibration. So this one is a little bit much complicated to say, which is ho. So the vibration today is ho, ho, ho. The statement today is I am the spirit's root.